mainly to watch it over and over and over again this weekend on repeat. But welcome everyone to Beat the Somm. It's our virtual blind wine tasting game via Sommify and our friends at Wines Till Sold Out, WTSO.com. They're fantastic. The wines, this is our third round of kits, and every kit's a 2-month deal, and all the wines have been really, really good. So we're really excited to be partnering with them. And so we'll tell you a little bit about what's going down tonight. Oh, you guys see that crown? I spent a lot of time on the animations, so I'd just appreciate if you don't want to chime in, just maybe a thumbs up in the chat for all the animations I did and transitions, if you don't mind. So real quick, I want to introduce all of you guys to Katie Rice, or Catherine Rice, as her Zoom screen shows, who is the owner of Vinoteca, one of our favorite wine shops in Atlanta. Katie, how are you feeling tonight?
Feeling great.
Yes,
I'm feeling great. I feel good. I've only probably tasted, I don't know, how many wines today? Maybe 30 to 40.
Oh, wow.
My palate's great. Yeah, it was a big day.
Yeah, well,
that was a lot.
At Chateau Taylor, we had Indian food, just completely blew out our palates. So we'll be ready as well.
I had cheese dip for dinner. It was great.
Oh, good.
I thought that would be like cleansing.
I love it. Palate cleanser. So we are so excited to have Katie here as our guest, Somm, this eve. You've been associated with wine for several years. You own your own wine shop. You managed Barcelona Wine Bar for a good stretch of time too. So, and most importantly, she hosted a slew of Sommify events and still does when we were prototyping. And we love Katie. We love Vinoteca. So thank you for being here tonight.
You're welcome. I actually brought my official Somm card from the store as well.
Yes. Yeah. See the reflection coming off that lamination. I like it. Nice. So let's there's your let's jazz hands for that transition, that crown. So our goal tonight is to the jazz hands are coming, is to learn a lot about wine, have a lot of fun, and but it's really to beat Katie. That's the challenge, is to beat the Somm, right? So go ahead and start drinking, especially if you have your side wine, because one of our little pet peeves is to go to a tasting and they don't tell you that it's okay to drink the first wine, and they give you the whole spiel. So we're going to tell you how all this works. Feel free, just make sure you leave a little bit that you could taste wine number one when we start.
Yeah, start with wine number one.
Okay. Do you want to tell them about us?
Sure. So my name's Jessica. I'm Connor's wife, and we both work in the wine industry in Atlanta. We both work for distributors. I sell wine mainly to restaurants, a few wine shops, and I've been doing this for 6 or 7 years now. And Connor works for another distributor as their education director. So with us having a lot of wine background, I'll let Connor maybe talk about how our board game Sommify came to be.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, it's almost been exactly 3 years. I was known on the streets as Trash Palate. That's what they all called me. And I said, okay, that's enough. I want to learn about, they didn't really call me, well, maybe they did, I don't know. But I want to learn a little bit. I wanted to do the Somm route, and I wanted to do the WSET 3 test, which their certification, which has a blind tasting component. So, and the normal way that you study for these are tasting groups, which are great, but I wanted to not spit all the wines. I wanted to put it in the context of game night. So Jess and I brainstormed about how we could do that, like a Cards Against Humanity feel, maybe you could say. Not that we're not that it's like that, but that type of feeling while you're learning about wine. So we started with a card game, and it was unplayable. It was not fun, but you're drinking wine, so that's cool. And then we decided, Jess is like, maybe a board game. And so we started, this is the very first prototype, that hot mess on the top left of your screen. It was very complicated. It wasn't necessarily fun, but you're drinking wine with your friends, so that's cool.
Maybe not visually appealing either.
Yeah, Photoshop, not my forte. Then somehow, that's the second iteration right there. It got worse somehow the further along we got. Let's fast forward to even worse, spring 2020. And then whatever this is here, which is actually the exact same formulation of our current game, but my graphic design skills. So finally, our brother-in-law said, nope, he intervened. He is a graphic designer, and so he designed our board, and we're really happy with it. And we kickstarted it, and we've been selling board games. But before all this, we were also going around and playing the game that we're playing tonight with some of the Somms and wine people in Atlanta, which is called Beat the Somm. So it's a version that we've also done at Vinotech several times for bigger groups, and it works really well virtually. So we're gonna play that tonight. So no board game, just what do we need tonight?
Yeah, so essentially tonight, we're playing a modified version of our board game. Obviously, we're not all together in person, so you're going to be guessing what you think the wine is based on some of our game materials that you should have gotten in your kit, and you're going to log your answers on our app. But before we get started with all of that, just make sure you have all 4 wines. Make sure they're concealed, keep them in their bags, 1 through 4. Go ahead and open them up as well, just so you have them open.
Don't look at the corks.
Yeah, don't look at the corks. Try not to look at the foil around the top either. Sometimes you'll see writing, French, Spanish, whatever. So just try not to look at it. Make sure you have a clear wine glass so you can actually see the color of the wine. And then make sure you have your Sommify wine key. So we're only going to be doing red wines tonight. So you only need to look at the red side. You can grab a pen or pencil if you want to make some notes as well, but completely up to you. But that's really all you need to get started.
Perfect. So, and by the way, you don't need to know how to blind taste. We're going to teach you everything. And when we're going through some of these rules, we're going to teach you the blind tasting portion as we go through wine number 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate our wines using our wine key and method. And then we're going to figure out, based on that, we're going to narrow it down to the grape, country, and whether we think it's from the old world or new world. We'll explain what that is in a minute. And then we're going to log our guesses on our web app. It's like an online leaderboard type of thing. And then, so let's go ahead. So here's the wine key. And do you want to explain?
Sure, we can skip this one because we're not doing white.
Oh yeah, let's go straight to the reds.
Yeah, so just to kind of, and if you guys have any questions about this, please, as we go along, please ask. But this is this key is gonna have everything that you need to know to guess the wines in front of you. So to make it a little bit easier, you're gonna have a set number of grapes that can be in the bottles in front of you. So if you look at column number 5, you see grape. That's going to be the only grapes that we're going to be playing with tonight. So it's all of the wines or grapes that are on level 2 Somm exam.
Correct. Yeah.
So it narrows it down a little bit. There's so many grape varietals in the world, so it would be impossible if we were doing some random wine from like Croatia or something. So you're going to be working. That narrows it down a little bit. The way the grid works is as we teach you guys how to blind taste. You're going to start to look at the wine, and you're first going to evaluate sight, and then acidity, and then tannin. Everything correlates horizontally. So I'm just going to use line 1 as an example. If you think the wine is thin, has high acid, and moderate minus tannin, then you just go across, and you're going to be left with Gamay. So that's going to be the wine that you go with. We're going to have a little emoji guide as well. That's going to give you a little bit more indicators for certain grapes, like some fruit profiles and that sort of thing, but everything correlates horizontally. So I'll use the next one down is Pinot Noir. So if you think the wine is thin, moderate plus, moderate minus, then you're going to go over and it's Pinot Noir.
Now, so those 2 are a great example, because you might say, okay, I don't know if the acidity of that, it's high or moderate plus, it's kind of in between, and it's thin, high, moderate minus tannins. I'm torn between Gamay and Pinot Noir. What do I do? Enter the grape emoji guide. Can you guys see that? Well, so up here, then you can narrow it down. Okay, well, Gamay is cherries, strawberries, bubblegum, bananas. Whereas Pinot Noir will have some mushroomy, earthy things sometimes.
These are just some common characteristics, like but it'll help you a little
generalizations,
bit.
but yeah, it could help you kind of narrow that down. So far, so good. Everyone jazz hands if we're good. Cool. And be sure to just type a question or interrupt us
or
anytime you
unmute
want.
if you guys have any questions at all, please.
I forgot to mention, and I don't want to alarm anyone, but the stakes are pretty high tonight because on top of getting the crown of Bacchus, if you win, you also get, here comes a cool graphic. Whoa, whoa. Did you guys see that 720, that board? Just, you also get a copy. The winner gets a copy of the Sommify board game delivered to your door by USPS. Pretty crazy. So get excited. All right, are you guys ready to start? Let's go ahead and pour.
Yay.
Yes.
Woo.
Let's go ahead and pour. Oh, and Katie, I forgot to tell you this when I asked you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and after we've all logged our guesses, we're going to ask you what you think it is. And then if you don't mind, and kind of what you're guessing and what you're thinking. And then we can, after that, we'll reveal, and then we can all talk about what we just had and, you know,
How we
what
got there.
made us, yeah. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone pour out wine number one. Just grab wine number one. Okie dokie.
Should have know what the wines are.
Oh, Jess forgot what the wines are, so she is blind as well. That works out.
Just kidding.
All right, so 4 red wines. Pour me a little bit here. The first call on our wine key, you'll see call number 1 is sight. And the way that we do it here at Sommify is, oh yeah, no problem, is we try to determine whether it's a thin skin or thick skinned grape. And the way we do that is hold your wine at about a 45-degree angle over your wine key, or you could put your fingers 2 or 3 inches away from the wine glass. And the question we're trying to answer is, how well can you see through it, right? Can you read through this wine? Can you read the words on the wine key? Can you see a lot of definition of your fingers in this wine key, right? And if you can, the easier it is to see through, the more likely that it's a thin-skinned grape. So when we're doing blind tasting, a lot of time it's just deducing, right? It's deducting. It's trying to figure out what something is not as much as what it is. So the whole idea here is you can cut, if you think it's thick skin, you can cut out all the thin skins. And if you think it's thin, you can cut out all the thick. So far, so good? So that'll be the first call. And if you guys are cool, I'll move on to the second. Are we good to move on to call number 2? Or do we need a
I want to
second?
interject too that one of the things that I like about the cards is that it has a gradient of lighter to darker that you can utilize look at your wine through the glass onto the gradient.
Yes.
It's helpful for that.
Thank you. I always forget to mention that. And it's
I
pretty-
know you always do, and I think it's one of the best things about this card
Yeah.
that
Thank
you didn't
you.
design.
I forget how cool that is. Very
It's so
cool.
good.
Very cool.
So everyone feel good about their first call. And some of them, I will say, some of them, you know, those middle grapes that, to Katie's point, that they're like kind of in between that light and bold, they can get a little finicky, they get a little tricky, and there's things that can change it a little bit. But the big asterisk by everything is it's subjective, and it's hard to gamify wine, but in general, we found these work. 6 times out of 10, we'll go with that. All right, you guys ready to go to the next call? Let's talk about acidity. This is a really useful tool, and it'll help you figure out what you like, I think, too. It's one of the ones that helps you figure out what types of wine you like a lot. So all wines have a degree of acid, of course, but some have a lot more than others. So what you're going to do is take a big old swig and make sure you get wine underneath your tongue and around your tongue, and then really pay attention to how mouth-watering it is. Really, specifically the saliva underneath your tongue, because that's the physical response your body has to acid, to tartaric acid, right? If you were to tomorrow morning, like I do every morning, I squeeze a lemon into my mouth just to start the day. If you were to do that, your mouth would water like crazy. That's pure citric acid, right? So the more your mouth waters, the higher the acidity. And a lot of this will take a few times. Once you start paying attention, you might notice, oh, now I notice that one is more mouth watering than another. So let's check this one out.
I think so, and I think too, when you guys start tasting like the 4 reds next to each other, I think sometimes when you taste one wine that's really acidic, one wine that's not next to each other, I don't know, you can kind of start to see the differences.
Tasty.
That's good. Does anyone have any questions about acidity? I know I think that's probably the hardest one out of the 3 that we're going to be going with, site acidity and tannin. I think it might be the hardest to kind of distinguish between moderate and moderate plus and all that.
Right.
I always say too that acidity, you can feel it like on the side of your mouth, like where your saliva, like your saliva glands. That's where it really starts to produce saliva. Is that like you can you get a sensation, I guess, on the side of your mouth.
Yeah. When you say side of your mouth, you mean like on your cheeks, or sorry, or like in?
I mean, like, no. For me, I get it like I guess the lower side.
On the gum.
The cheeks.
Yeah, or the cheeks.
Sure. Yeah.
No, I apologize.
That's where. No, it's okay. Like that's where I tend to like the acidity tends to feel the strongest for me, where my mouth like is on the side of my mouth. I guess it's between your cheek and your gums. I guess. Hold on.
Kelly agrees. I think.
What are you saying, Kelly?
I definitely agree, and my husband agrees too. We were like, yeah, I know what she's saying. It's right on like the side, like where you kind of gleek from. Like that's exactly where.
Yes,
the gleek zone. The origin of the gleek. I love that.
No, I think it's well said.
Okay, wait, no, my husband just said he doesn't know what gleeking is. So am I like crazy? You guys know what that is?
Oh yeah.
It's a very we know
an involuntary
okay.
response for this one.
It's an involuntary saliva response.
Except for the coolest guy in 5th grade, Ty Bates, could gleek voluntarily, which made him the coolest guy in 5th grade. But yes, where you like you yawn and you accidentally salivate forward a little bit. Is that a good way to
salivating forward, I think it's a good way to put it.
We're learning a lot tonight. Raise your hand if you knew that term gleek. My dad is not in the know with the gleeking. That's all right. Somebody. That Chet. Chet knows what's up.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and move on to tannin then. I'm gonna have a whole new section, a new slide that's just the gleek.
The gleek.
Wine gleeks. All right, so let's talk about tannin now. So all wines red wines at least, have some degree of tannin. Tannin is a mouth drying effect. Tannins will make your mouth dry. There are polyphenol that you get from barrels, or just certain grapes have more than others, right? So take a big sip and really pay attention to like the roof of your mouth, the front of your gum. And I like to think of it as like the last sip of green tea where it dries your mouth out. That's like kind of like pure tannin. How much of that mouth drying are you experiencing? Because a lot of that means a high T zone. Katie, what do you have anything to add about tannin?
Well, you said green tea, but I always think of it more as black tea. Yeah, and kind of that why you would do this, but if you would put a black tea bag in your mouth, or just like even don't do it, or even like just the smell of a wet tea bag kind of has the tannic note to it.
So tomorrow morning we need everyone to have a lemon
tea bag.
Your bag of tea.
Get your Friday
or if you have like really strongly brewed iced tea is a better way to say it, probably. Like iced tea that's way over brewed and it has like that has this, like almost a bitter sensation. I hate the word bitter because it kind of connotates something negative, because tannins don't necessarily mean negative things, but they kind of have that that sensation of
walnuts and pecans and some nuts have a lot of tannin too. It's another one that can give you that sensation.
For sure.
Astringency,
Mhm.
So any questions on tannins? If you, some red wines, you barely detect anything. So that's normal, that's okay. That would be, you would call that moderate minus. Cool. All right, if you guys are good with the jazz hand, we'll move on to call number 4, which is New World or Old World. So do you want to take this one or do you want me?
I can talk about it. So this one, New World versus Old World. So Old World is going to essentially be Europe. So any wine country in Europe, and then New World is going to be
Everywhere else.
So Australia, South Africa, North America, South America. So in general, like these are all generalizations, but in general, New World wines are going to be a little bit fruitier than Old World wines. I think New World wines are a little bit more like in your face, if you will. While Old World wines are a little bit more, they can be a little bit more elegant. They're usually more acid driven, a little bit earthier, sometimes a little bit funkier. Versus New World wines might be more like have more fruit, maybe have more tannin, maybe have higher alcohol, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they might lead with fruit and then there's other stuff. Whereas in Europe, sometimes you lead or there's more other stuff and then fruit or more, kind of on the same level. Does that make sense? When you start paying attention to it, you'll know like a California is or Australia is one of the newest New World, I think. It's a warm climate, so you get a lot of really ripe fruit. Oftentimes, every winemaker can make it a different way, and a lot of microclimates and stuff. But yeah, it just kind of in general. So when we're looking at this one, we're going to ask ourselves: is it? Are we lagging? It says my internet connection's unstable. Are we good?
You're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
We're good.
I think it just messes with me, my computer every once in a while. My Zoom just gives me a little panic. But yeah, does it lead with acid and some other things and then fruit, or is it really fruity and then some other things?
Katie, do you have anything to add to that, or is that you think that's pretty good?
I think it's pretty good. I think one of the things just to remember about New World versus Old World is that as far as where grapes originated from is the Old World. So that's one of the things that you can think of is the wines, Old World wines tend to be more traditional. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just, earthy, terroir is key versus the fruit notes.
I love it.
Yeah.
We can go back to these slides throughout. And if you guys have any questions, obviously.
What we're trying to say is your gleek zones are more engaged usually in the Old World versus the New World, where oftentimes. #gleek zone. Okay, so here's what's going on now. Hopefully you guys have all figured out maybe a grape, country, and New World or Old World guess.
For this first wine.
For this first wine. So go ahead and get your phone and hit that QR code, and you should get to the login for Beat the Somm, and you're going to enter the code JJNZ.
And if you don't want to use the QR code, you can also go to their website and follow those steps. It'll take you to the same page. But this is where everyone's going to log their guesses, and we're going to have a scoreboard, and that way we can keep. And this is an honor system, so yeah, no cheating. But this is so we can keep track of everyone's scores and that sort of thing.
JJNZ.
So we'll give you all.
I need to do this too.
Who asked that? Katie?
Me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
So you don't have to, but
you could use an alias if you wanted.
There is a board game on the line, so
stakes huge.
I own one.
Katie bought one, but she also sells them at her shop, and she keeps on selling her.
I've sold mine so many. Yeah, my own copy.
Okay, we got Raw. Oh yeah, we got most people in.
Okay.
Ooh, Optimus
fast, everybody.
Yeah,
I should have done that.
We got Rob, we got Lauren, we got Kelly, we got Bruce, Anna, Carolyn, Carl. Is Carl Caroline? Our Caroline? Or is there a Carl?
I think she nodded, yeah.
Oh, we have 2 Carls. Uh-oh.
Double Carl, watch out.
It's a battle of the battle of the Carls tonight. Who will prove top Carl? Liz, Optimus Prime, Dawn, Katie, FJA, and Wanda.
Cool. Is everyone logged in? Does anyone need more time to pull it up? Let us know. You put on some music.
Yeah, but oops.
So the nice thing about, so when you guys, this is essentially all you're going to do on the app is you're going to be logging your guesses. The nice thing is with the app is it's going to start to narrow it down. So
I'm going to go ahead and start this first round. You guys ready? We all in? Okay. Start. Does everyone see it? Oh, I don't actually.
I'm so nervous for some reason. Okay.
You don't have to log in if you want. Don't worry, Peter was 1 for 4, so you're good.
make sure you guys scroll, because I think this you have to scroll to make sure you can see all the options on the screen.
This is really intense. This is really intense.
Intense?
Yeah.
The music or the...
I love how it's like, you have to log it in. You have to have commitment.
Oh yeah. That's like that's why I like to create an alias like Bonner Taylor or Connor or Taylor Taylor. that way no one knows it's me.
So it's gonna start with your grape, and then as soon as you pick the grape, it's gonna automatically narrow it down for you, which I think is kind of helpful.
Most people have already got theirs in. Ooh.
I think everybody has. Oh, yeah. Almost.
Well, you see the answers though right here. Jess really wants to play, even though she knows she sees the answers on the screen.
I didn't see. Well, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, honor system here, I guess. No, you should play. Go ahead.
Well, this first one I want to play.
Yeah, get in there. Okay. Oh, hold on. 1 second here. How embarrassing. Let me get to my playlist. Oh.
Well, it looks like everyone has logged their guesses.
This is volume here. Okay. Oh, we're going to tell you guys about the point. So, we'll get 25 points per category. You get 25 points if you get grape right. 25 to get country. 25 to get old world or new world. Whoa. If you get the line, you get a bonus 25 points. So, if you call it completely correctly, you get 100 points.
So even if you don't get the grape right, but it was old world and it's old world, you still get points for that. So you still get points even if you don't guess.
You should always have this, the background that you're like you're explaining anything. Is everyone in? Okay. All right, we're about to hit end round. Oh no, we're not. Because first we want to see. All right, Katie. You want to talk about?
Well, you got to turn the music down a little bit because it seems very loud. Thank you.
Yeah,
loud.
It was very loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can hear it through my head.
No, I can hear them talking too.
She can hear you talking too because she has supersonic hearing.
Really. So what are you thinking? What do you think?
Do you want me to tell you what I guess?
We're all in. Yeah.
Or just like your thought process behind what you guessed. Everyone has put their answers in, so you're not going to.
Or do you want me just to score it and then you talk?
No, I'm fine. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
My first inclination is to look at color. Obviously, we know that color gives away of a lot of what the wine is. This wine's pretty.
Pretty wet.
It's
Sorry.
pretty red. I mean, it's okay. It's I dumped it. It's red. It's scarlet. As far as the viscosity or the site goes, it is a thin skin grape. I would put it kind of on the lighter side. As far as the color gradient, again, that I like so much is acidity on this is pretty powerful. I called it moderate plus. Tannin is quite lacking, so I went moderate minus. That led me to Pinot Noir. And just from deductive reasoning and what I know about wine, I called it California Pinot Noir.
Okay.
There's definitely some oak on the wine, probably a little bit more neutral than new. And the fruit is pretty present. There's some good baking spice to it, so that threw me off just a little bit. And then the fruit characteristics I was getting, well, I actually really like the emoji thing. And I actually had it, hold on, pulled up, as you can see,
I
from.
have to do this. I'm so sorry, you guys. Whoops, I was supposed to do that on this screen. Whoops.
So the wine definitely has cranberry and cherry, not so much a mushroom or strawberry, but those two fruits were definitely present as well. That's why I got to where I was.
I love it. Does anyone else want to chime in on anything, or do you want to should we just reveal?
I got the like, it was like Christmas to me. Like it was like all the spices. It was like
It had a lot of baking spice.
a lot of baking spice.
What did you guess, Jess? Because you don't know what it is.
Well, so I went. Honestly, the baking spices kind of threw me off a little bit. I definitely think thin-skinned. I went Grenache, just based on like
my other guess.
I did Australian Grenache because I think it has a lot of fruit. Acid's not too high. And then I don't know why I was like, like the spices made me think maybe Grenache. I don't know.
Nice.
Grenache was my other guess. But
you guys have a third guess?
Oh man.
Could it be Merlot? No.
No.
Kelly, what?
Do you have a third? Do you have a different guess, Kelly?
Well, I was thinking Southern Rhone Grenache, but I ended up going Sangiovese because I thought the tannins were higher. So I went for Sangiovese, thin skin, high tannin, kind of Italian, spicy, herby. That's what I went for.
All right, so everyone, check your phones. I'm about to hit end round, and hopefully, our very sophisticated app will work. Did it work? Hold up. Did it work?
Yeah, it should have worked.
Okay, so.
Oh shit! Oh.
Will you pass me the wine? Is it this one?
I skipped something. I don't know what I did.
Okay, so it was a drum roll. It actually, Kelly, you nailed it. It is Chianti Classico, which is Sangiovese from Italy. So,
damn.
Well done, Kelly. But
well done, Kelly.
Here's the thing: red fruits galore, cranberries, all that stuff. That's all in high acid and.
So actually, is this?
What's the vintage on it?
2016, I think.
2016. So it's kind of embarrassing, actually. I sell this wine. This is one that my company sells. So anyway,
I would not have gotten.
Good job, Kelly. All right, let's see what the.
So Kelly and Wanda both nailed that one, so they got 100 points.
Nice.
And Carlin in the mix, and then well done, everybody. Cool. So do we all understand it though? Understand the system? We ready for wine number 2? Let's do it. I'm all out of sorts there. That was supposed to be the big dramatic reveal right there. And this PowerPoint is kind of crazy. All right, so let's get into wine number 2. Everyone pour it.
So we have Kelly. Who else did well that
round? Wanda nailed it. Where is Wanda? What group is she? Was she with Rob's group or Ken or Joy? Who's to say? Maybe she's not even part of it.
No, surprisingly, Joy is actually going under the name Wanda for inexplicable reasons today.
Okay. Oh, I like that. Like I said, I like to have an alibi. Like I said, I'm Bonner Mailer sometimes on these things when I'm blind tasting because it can be intimidating at first, right?
She's claiming it's a reference to WandaVision.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Hey.
I love it. All right, here's the deal. Y'all want me to go through the whole spiel again? I'm just going to give you a little, with David Byrne backing me up here. I'm going to go through everything's the same, right? But stop me if you have a question, or if you need a little reminder. Bring it down a little bit. Okay. Would you mind pouring me a little bit? Okay. So, just a reminder: thin or thick? Can you read through it? If you can read through it, if you can see your the texture of your fingers fairly well, it might be thin. If it's harder to see that, harder to kind of get through there, it could be thick. Did it remember it's that mouth, it's that gleek zone reaction. If it's a high gleek reaction, it could be high acid, right? The mouth watering underneath your tongue, and you might feel at the sides of your your mouth. Tannin is that mouth drying effect. The tea bag, the black tea bag in your mouth, or pecans or walnuts, et cetera, et cetera. And is it from the new world or the old world? Is it leading with fruit and then other? Or is that other prominent? And then, what I'm gonna do here is get us on this grape emoji here. I'm just gonna do that. Can you guys see the or whatever you call it, the videos, the participant screen?
I can see the video on the right-hand side of my screen. I don't know if everybody else can, but I can see everybody there, so I don't really need the middle one.
Yeah,
I think you might have to, can you move your own, or can I do something to move it?
I think they all have their
own. Okay.
But this is between that.
Oh, it's in our stuff. Yeah, but,
I'm going to send you a picture of my screen.
Okay, that'd be cool.
You want to start the round?
Yeah, well, sorry, we start the round on the app.
All right, so we're starting the round on the app. If you guys already want to start, log in your guesses.
Ooh. I was distracted because I know what it was. Oh, okay, so you can see. That's weird. I didn't know you guys could see my video.
That's what my screen looks like. I don't know if everybody else's does.
Because it usually hides that. I think you guys can see
Yeah, I can see your video like vertical on the screen.
That's so weird. That usually doesn't do that, I feel like. Huh.
Maybe I have a newfangled Zoom or an old-fangled Zoom.
I did download the update recently, like a dummy.
So did I.
Here, I'm gonna move this. How about that? Is that better then? Well, I like to make eye contact with everybody. No, because I'm there and there. But now we're only doing red lines. Is that okay?
Oh gosh, I'm rethinking my answer that I already put in the thing.
Well, we want to hear your first guess and second guess.
Is it go with your gut? Like the.
It was funny
I
because
feel like it's always good to go with your gut.
I've heard both theories, right? Well,
there was something I was getting on the nose in the beginning that like instantaneously made me think of what this wine was, and now I'm not getting it so much.
Huh. The Somm Guild will say, go with just don't go with your gut, right? Just go with the grid. But I like go with my gut.
What do they know?
Yeah.
Agreed. Let's see. All right. I feel like a lot of people have decided.
Yeah. We're a decisive bunch. Did we like wine number one? I forgot to ask everybody.
I liked it. I can't believe it's Chianti. Good job, Kelly. I'm serious. Like, it's also not something that I guess we don't have very often. It's not really my wheelhouse.
I feel like I went to a Chianti only tasting, and that's the only reason I may have thought that is because if you have all these Chiantis side by side, it like locks in your brain the expressions of them, because I don't drink Chianti at home. So like that's not one that I have often. It just isn't.
Right.
I don't know.
I love it.
Yes, Sam. It's not really my go-to at home wine.
I also
like
think
that
we should
wine.
create a brand called I Can't Believe It's Chianti.
I'm sure the Italians would love that.
Yeah. It'll be $6. Okay. Almost everyone's in except for Jess. Jess, you haven't.
Oh, I know what it is now.
We're just waiting on one person. I'm not gonna call them out.
Trying to be honest. I get.
But Rob, if you want to get your guess at.
Rob's fine.
Sorry, Rob. I'm just kidding. Okay. Hold on a second here. Oh, I forgot. My favorite part of this whole thing is playing the music. Let's see here. Ooh, Rob just got in. We're good.
I think it was your pressure of the Jeopardy music that made him get
Yes.
in. He was like, oh, Nikes.
See Trebek just watching over us. Sorry, I don't know why I brought us down like that. Katie, what are you thinking for this
All
one?
right, so color on the wine is thick, bold. I cannot see through it. As far as acidity goes, it's got some gut acid. I would give it a moderate plus, and it does have high tannin. So when I was saying that, when I first initially tasted the wine, I got something specific, and that was a little bit of eucalyptus or mint on the nose, which led me originally, instinctively to think Australia. I almost said Austria. Australia, and Shiraz. That's kind of blown off a little bit, and it's not as prominent as it was. So then I got scared, and so I think it might be Malbec, but I'm gonna say I went with my gut, and that's Australian Shiraz, even though
I love it.
it might be Malbec.
Does anyone else want to chime in with what they're thinking?
The only thing I mean, granted, I know what the wine is, but I feel like there was a lot of pepper. I think I got like
A lot of pepper. That's where
a lot of
yeah.
pepper. I don't know. I feel like I was getting a lot of like green pepper, black pepper that at least
Yeah.
just on the nose, but that stood out a lot to me.
Mhm.
I like that. I think we could. I think that we're in the new world because there's a lot of alcohol in this guy too, right? You can feel the burn. So I think
Definitely in the New World.
I'll go ahead and say it is a New World wine, and that would be probably you're not going to see that as much, feel that burn as much in the Old World. Well, maybe, but not for this type thick skin for on this grid. So I'm going to go ahead and hit end round. It was from the New World, from Australia, and it is Cabernet Sauvignon, which I could see that getting mixed up with Shiraz all the time. The Australia thing is the thing that shines through the most to me in this wine, right?
Yeah.
I think the eucalyptus and mint thing is spot on.
You know what's funny is that I also was thinking, but it's not on the key, was Cabernet from Argentina. Then I was like, no, you can't do that because it's not on the key.
Right.
And then I was like, no, I'm gonna go with because I usually get that kind of pepper pyrazine note too on Argentinian.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, I feel like some of the South American wines get like so much pepper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do we think of that?
I mean,
Okay.
I like.
What's the wine?
Oh, sorry. It's
sorry.
called Holic. It's Coonawarra. Coonawarra, a kind of famous Cabernet region in Australia.
I like it because I mean, I've had my fair share of like California Cab and even like Chilean Cab, but I haven't had that much Australian Cabernet, so it's kind of cool to taste a different area.
Yeah. Well done. Well,
Did anyone? I'd be curious. You can either like raise your hand, or you don't have to if you don't want to. Like, but did anyone guess Cab? Did anyone think the grape was Cabernet?
I did, but I only got 25 points because I guessed France Cab, not a New World.
Oh, man,
Kelly and Ryan thought it. Ryan's over here. He's not on camera, but he got the other one right too.
I thought it was Chilean.
He
Cab.
thought it. Yeah, we both thought it was Chilean Cab.
oh, nice.
I can see that totally.
Because I thought it tasted like Carmenere, and that's not a shade. That's not a option either. So I was staying in Chile for that.
Is that like the green peppery, the real peppery thing?
Real like roasted peppers, like bell peppers, like that's what I was getting in there.
Like blackened on the stove kind of pepper. Mhm.
Nice. Man, I want to play. Next time you're gonna know the wines, and I don't want to know the wines. Cool. All right. Well, so Kelly, watch out, world. You are in first place right now, and Wanda is nipping at your heels. And I would not put Carolyn out of the race though yet, or Optimus Prime, or Carlin. We're all doing really well. So let's go ahead and move on, because I want to play another song to wine number 3. What say ye? Are we good? Let's do it. I just realized my spittoon is empty, so do you guys mind if I stay here, Dad? Can I stay here and not drive tonight?
I'm just gonna crash his dad's house tonight.
Crashing with the rents. All right, so let's go ahead and go to.
When the Don and Dean said pepper emoji for the win. I agree.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Hey, that helped. Your guide helped somebody.
I
think that I really like the emoji.
I was unreasonably.
Cool. I love the emojis.
I was unreasonably proud of that. That's all I was talking about for a fortnight. Okay, let's go ahead.
You also came. I remember when you made it. You came to the store before you were done with it. And you're like, "Look what I did!"
Yeah.
So excited about it.
I know. And then you guys were like, "Oh, you guys had a really good edit." It was on on Cabernet. You said put a little barrel on there for oak. I think is what it was, and then something else. Anyway, it was very cool. All right, so let's go ahead and pour out. Jessica, you pour me number 3. It's closer to you, and we'll get that going. And we need some good number 3. Oh, what about 3 is the magic number? You guys know that song? We need to play that one from
All right, so we still have Kelly in the lead, Wanda, and then we got Carolyn, Optimus Prime, and Carlin in second place.
I love it. All right, so I'm gonna move this for a second, and I don't need to go through the calls again, do I? Good. I'm just gonna take us to the emoji guide. Faith and hope and charity, in the heart and the brain and the body will give you 3. It's a magic number. It takes 3 legs to make a tripod or to make a table stand, and it takes 3 wheels to make a vehicle called the tricycle. And every triangle has 3 corners, every triangle has 3 sides, no more, no less. You won't have to guess. That is 3. Can't you see that it's a magic number? A man and a woman had a little baby. Yeah, they did. And there were 3 in the family. Oh, that's a magic number. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Oh, I forgot to hit the part round. Sorry, Alan.
Sorry.
Now multiply backwards from 3 times 10.
That's not a technical glitch for the first time. No.
Sorry, we have the round has started 3 weeks.
3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times 1 is 3 or 4. Now dig the pattern once more. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Oh, yeah. Oh, 3 times 10 is 30. And 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12. And 3 times 3 is 9. And 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times 1. What is it? 3. A man and a woman had a little baby. There were 3 in the family. And that's a magic number.
Connor. Oh,
Sorry, I was searching for Bittersweet Symphony and I just found it.
I thought you were locked up for a second.
No, I was locked up looking for the perfect song before.
Oh, we gotta put the things in.
I'm
Yeah.
Honey.
This round's a bit delayed because I forgot to hit start round. Here. Okay, give y'all another. No, we're almost all in. Don's still making up her mind. It's on a trivia night, isn't it? Yeah. The Verb or One Hit Wonder, or do they have another song?
I think they're one-hit wonders.
Yeah. Are they the definition of a one hit wonder? I like how Carl too.
Oh,
One of the Carls renamed themselves a Carl too, admitting beta status. I think that makes you an alpha. Actually, to know thyself.
Oh, I don't know. I just see one Carl now.
Oh yeah, where is?
Oh,
Carl?
but now there's Carlin. So
But there always was a Carlet. There's a lot of this car plus other letters. All right, let's go ahead and I think we're all ready here. You're only good.
Can you hear me aerate on this? Can you hear me aerate? Does that make a noise or no? You
I
can.
hear you.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna isolate that audio
Do
and
you have
send
a
it to you
mini
tomorrow.
aerator?
No, like me aerating in my mouth.
Seems like her
You know
mouth.
what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't hear
I feel like
you.
it's a.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like it was aggressive, and I was like, oh God, can they hear me?
Aggressive
Okay.
aeration. You'll get the audio clips
That's how
tomorrow.
you know you're a wine pro.
Okay, so
I'm like spitting it across the room.
so speaking of aggressive aeration, did you think this one had some ABV on it? What do you think about this wine? What do you think, Katie?
I did. It's hot. This wine, that's a word that we tend to say when wines have a higher alcohol content. So I'm guessing this is from a warmer place too, because it's got a lot of intensity to it. Color wise, we are another thick skinned grape, but it's not. It borderlines like if I really look hard, I can see the lines through it. So it's kind of on that
It's that
that
annoying
tipping
middle.
point.
You're right.
Yeah. It is my first inclination on the wine was it does have a good amount of alcohol. I'm gonna guess it's in the close to 15%. But then as I went through the wine, it was obviously an old world wine because terroir was a specific presence to the wine. The acidity is high. Again, kind of connotating we're in a warmer spot. The tannin is also high. So and the wine is young ish. It is this is a big one. So I'm gonna go Spain, Tempranillo, Old World on the wine.
Cool. Any other thoughts?
And then also as far as like flavor profile, there is some looking again at your emoji guide. There is some I got more vanilla than coconut, and then red fruits, strawberry. There's obviously some cherry on the wine as well. But like my mouth is still like I'm still gleeking. I'm still the tannin is still noticeable. It definitely is a wine that requires some food presence, which also makes me kind of solidifies my answer. Originally, I thought maybe it was Grenache, But I would have actually maybe said like a Spanish Grenache or something from like Monastral or something from, but again, Spanish Grenache is not on here, or something from like a higher, warmer area in Spain, was my first original thought too. Like a, from, my brain just completely farted.
Ribera del Duero or something? Or
No, like Grenache, like a, in
oh, like
Florida,
Rioja or something?
or yeah, like more of a single varietal though, but like
Oh, yeah,
something
yeah.
from a warmer area in Spain. Like, you know, those little southern areas that are like
Yeah.
south of Barcelona that are kind of doing their own thing now,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
testable wines at all. That's what I would, Monastral or Grenache.
I love it.
So I'm gonna go Tempranillo, Spain.
Well, can y'all tell? I'm gonna hit end round. Can you tell that Katie runs a kind of Spanish themed wine shop? Because this is indeed Tempranillo from Spain, and it's it's Campo Nuevo, and it's from Navarra, which is so
A hot region.
hot
I
region.
didn't think it was
So-
Rioja. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what's kind of this one's a tough one, because when you think normally on the Somm exam you'd be giving Rioja, which would have like a lot more dried fruit and some other, and the oak would be like, it'd be dilly and coconutty, but this one's a little different, right? It's go ahead.
I thought they were celebrating on Rob Cole's screen. I
Oh
couldn't
yeah,
tell.
Rob, did you nail that? Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Anna did really well on that round. I
did
don't know where
wanna-
Anna is.
I did want to mention, so on the emoji guide, you have Tempranillo, and so the little herb on the far right, that is dill. And I feel like with Rioja wines, you'll get dill when they age it in American oak, which is pretty common in Rioja, and it's really interesting to like get a Tempranillo. I didn't really get that on this wine, but like some Tempranillos have so much dill. And it's kind of crazy that they almost smell like, I don't know, like pickly. And that's from the oak aging. It's not necessarily from the grape itself. But that like dill and coconut are, I feel like, usually good indicators on wine tasting for more specifically Rioja, which is like a region in Spain where it's pretty from.
I would have called this Australian Grenache because I'm trash palate, but I think it feels like
I told Grenache was my first thought. Grenache was totally my first thought.
like a warm.
This wine is juice. It's got a lot of texture to it.
No, with
Like it's juicy. It's
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Navarra makes a lot of sense. So geographically, for other people, is Navarra like sits on top of Rioja, and it's an area that has a long history of growing wine, but not necessarily. They're kind of still trying to find their own. They're still trying to find their own way as far as like wine production goes.
Love it. All right, well, let's go ahead. And a little score update. You want to give me a score update while I move on?
All right,
to
sure.
number 4?
So our Atlanta Somms, Kelly and Katie, are tied
Whoa.
at 150 points apiece.
Oh, no.
And
Kelly, what did you call that?
Oh, I totally bombed that one. I actually thought it was California Zen, but I think I misinterpreted the dill for like that spice. Like I think of Zinfandel as so spicy, and I thought it was like blueberry pie spice, and I just misinterpreted that as like the coconut dill. So that's what it was. Yeah, I called Zin.
I can totally see that.
Is there an eject button? How do we get rid of Kelly here for calling this?
No, I think
No,
it's a
that-
great call.
Yeah, I agree.
But then
Especially with the alcohol on it.
totally.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget about Anna and Wanda, who are coming in hot.
It's really anyone's.
I'm in hot, just like that wine.
Yeah.
It's really anyone's game at this point, but I am rooting for Optimus Prime just for the name. I don't need to know who you are, but I'm rooting for you. And here we go to wine number 4. Is there any song that has 4? Like, we had 3 is a magic number. What's a good 4 song? I got nothing. Oh, let me hit start round and you guys do your thing. While Europe does their thing with a sweet solo. That's the most popular one. We'll do something.
Take you to the Hotel Martinet in Brooklyn, where Bobby Millett and his orchestra are offering a program of dance music.
Yeah, 1994. 69 boys backed up by the Quad City DJs.
Oh, look at those shoulders.
It's a good one. That's a good one.
Just make that Tootsie Roll. Here we go, here we go.
Just let me see your Tootsie Roll.
What's your Tootsie Roll?
That's not the comment. Let me see your Tootsie Roll.
Here's your little known death fact for the night. You worm like a champion. You do the worm. Like real good.
That's not surprising.
I haven't done it.
Your worming days are over.
Come on, to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, to the front, to the front, to the back, to the right. Now dip, baby. Come on, let's dip, baby. Dip, baby, dip. Just dip, baby, dip. Just dip, baby. Cotton candy, sweetie, go. Let me see the Tootsie Roll. Here we go, come on, roll. Come on, roll. Let me see your Tootsie Roll. Come on, roll. Just get on the floor and Tootsie Roll. Here we go, here we go. Just I feel a whoop coming up, a whoop. Say what I feel a whoop coming up, a what? A whoop. Yeah, I feel a whoop coming up, a whoop coming up. I feel a whoop.
Feel a whoop coming up yet? Or is that what that says? I feel a whoop. No?
It's a whoop, a whoop, a whoop.
Maybe like make sure you pronounce the H. A whoop. Kelly's got her answer in. So does Anna. Carlin's got her in. Dino, Dad knows this one. So, Carolina's called. Go back to that. This Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music. Katie's facial expression. This is her favorite line of the book.
I'm really like lost on this one.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was your.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start walking into your wine account with this music. This part of the music playing in the background. Huh. Oh, sorry, y'all. I'm gripping this. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Everyone's in except for our guest Somm and Rob.
I'm in.
By the way, Rob, I love you. I'm sorry I keep on calling you out. This is a firm last place. Just pass. Okay, I think everyone's in now. All right, let's move on. Wine number 4, Katie. What do you think this is?
This one was hard. It was hard for a couple of different reasons. Because when I look at it and I look at the color, my first thought was Pinot. And then when I tasted the wine, I'm like, why is this so juicy? It is a juicy juicerson. But then the acidity is high. There's no tannin. Well, not that there's no tannin. The tannins are not remarkable. But it's so juicy. But looking at the color, at first I was like, is this wine Syrah? Is this wine? Then Kelly made me think, is this wine Zinfandel? Honey, you need to go to bed.
He does that to me all the time.
And the acidity is definitely there. I can still feel it. This is hard. So I went with Pinot Noir from California.
Really?
It's
I'm just kidding.
juicy. Why is it so juicy?
Are you
It's
sure?
juicy.
No. Okay, great. Yeah. Any?
It's really fruity.
Yeah.
It's really fruity. The thing is I don't dislike the wine, but it's like, it looks like Pinot. It could be a little bit more orangey or like less red, but it looks like Pinot. It's just so juicy. I like it. I want to chug it.
So I love it. So Pinot is the
Maybe-
first.
maybe it's the one
So
that's
you're
like
sticking with Pinot. What was there
silver
something else you
or
were
that
thinking?
color, like that color?
I knew it was New World from the jump, so that kind of took away a couple things. Syrah, like I said, American Syrah, but the color doesn't work for that at all. And then I went to Zinfandel because I was like thrown off by your color grid, because I was like, sometimes people make zins that aren't necessarily spicy.
This is the
They
hardest
make
one.
zins that are.
Mom,
Some people
Gin
make
is the
zins
hardest
that are-
one for this whole game because you can make it
Darker
so many
color.
different ways. If it's old vine, it's different. If
Like,
it's
probably like the
the
egg
maceration,
color.
it can be different. All the different things. But okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit end round. And Katie, you might have won. You might have won another. That is
Another game?
well. Let's see. Hold on.
Well,
Let's
let's
see.
see.
This is Pinot Noir from California, from the Russian River Valley. It's called West Side Crossing.
Russian River.
Yeah, so it is California Pinot Noir. It's thin skin.
What's the vintage on it?
2016. Oh, sorry. I thought it hit end. 2016.
In 2016. This is the
Russian River.
Yeah, so it's 13.9 alcohol. It's but it's juicy. There's a lot of.
9's high.
I know. Well, it's about right for Russian River, I guess. It's kind of right in that range, but high for Pinot, I guess, in general.
Oh, that's a good question. For me,
Let's read the question. So D and D ask, what's the difference between Oregon and California Pinot?
well, I was just gonna say, first that like California Pinot is always like really fruity in general to me, like versus like your old world Pinot, like your French Pinots are like a little bit more acid driven and not
earth.
quite. And I feel like this had like some vanilla to it. Maybe because I know it's California, I'm thinking like more oak aging and you get vanilla from oak. But in general, I feel like Oregon Pinots are, it's literally Oregon, like Willamette Valley is the same latitude line as Burgundy. So they're they're similar climates. So they make more like old world style. So it's going to be higher acid.
I like to say that. So
Maybe a little earthier.
So French Pinot and California Pinot in between, like Oregon's like a kind of like a little bit in between both of them because it has some earthiness. It's got some more acid than California does because it's further north, so less ripening. And so to me, it's like, all right, so France is the extreme of earthy, if you're generalizing, and like cranberry and sour cherry and all that stuff. Whereas California at its most New World is like really ripe red fruit, and Oregon's kind of straddles that line. What do you think, Katie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I also feel like with Oregon, especially in California and specific areas like Napa or Sonoma, you tend to get a little bit more oak presence to the wine than you do in Oregon. And Oregon tends to fall on that line of, is this French because the earthy nature. again, I know I keep harping on color, but I tend to think that California has more red. The tend to be red, and Oregon tends to kind of border on that, have a little bit more of an orangey tint to it.
For me too.
And then,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, there's also a line. That's what's funny about this wine is I wouldn't have guessed Russian River, because usually with Oregon Pinot, you tend to have kind of a red, like the soil, you can taste the soil through the wine, like the clay or a minerality to the wine that you're going to get, versus California, like you said earlier, where the fruit tends to be more prominent, especially like really ripe red fruits.
I think Oregon can throw off people more than in any other New World region for being Old World because of that, right? And for me, I was going to say earlier, like Russian River, to me, always tastes like cherry Coke. There's that cola element.
Yeah, there's always cola.
This one, not really.
No.
This one's good, but it doesn't have that cherry Coke thing.
If you were to say like, what's the appellation of this California Pinot Noir, I would say California.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem to fall into anything. It doesn't have Central Coast.
Yeah.
Maybe something a little more inland versus oceanic influence to it. Like it doesn't seem to me that it has, I don't know. I like this wine. This is my favorite of all the wines, just because it's juicy and fun, and it's but I love Russian River for that. There is that undercurrent of minerality that kind of falls in Russian River usually too, and the oceanic influence. But
I love it. Last thing I would say is because California is so big, and if you're just going through, if you're in a store and you see an Oregon wine, you can usually trust it better than just any, like if you're to the new wine drinker, most Oregon doesn't mass produce. So like
there is something to add to that right now though, is that for the current releases of some Oregon wines, 2020 was not kind there. So one of the issues with Oregon, and it's fair to say that, like I would, if I was the Kroger and I had a line of Pinot Noirs to choose, I would pick Oregon over anything else, just for like, I know it's going to be good, but with 2020 right now, the wines have such a hint of smoke to them that it's kind of hard to say that. We've been trying a lot of them recently, and
you're having to find adjectives to be polite. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm about to hit end game, and I think on your phones you guys can see the podium.
You did.
No, but I didn't hit end the game.
Oh, got it.
So y'all look at your phones for the podium. So, can everyone see it? I should have had music for that. So no one beat the Somm, but so really technically our winner, our silver medal, but really our gold medal is Kelly. So everyone give it up for Kelly. Jazz hands for Kelly. And then I want to call out the tie for second place being Carolyn, Optimus Prime, and FJA. And then our little bronze medals are Carl 2, Dino, and Ken Perry. So well done, everybody.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. The apple does not fall far from
Wait,
the tree.
sorry,
That's my father.
Dino
It kicked me out of the game. I was in third. It kicked me out.
Oh, I was
Oh
wondering.
no! I thought you left in protest.
No.
I was gonna ask, because what's your name? I'm sorry.
Anna.
Anna. Okay, because I was like, but then you went away, and I was like, oh, I guess Anna's just no longer here.
I thought you were mad that you didn't get the crown and you just
No.
left.
I'm so sad. I went to like refresh the page and it just kicked me out.
But I
And
saw you. I did see you in third. So
Thank you.
we'll
Thank you.
send you, because I know Katie has a game. Kelly, I'm pretty sure you already have a game. If not, we'll get you hooked up. But Anna is our third place.
Anna, send us your.
We'll send us your info. We'll get a game in the mail for you.
Hey, will do. Thank you.
And that info, just email info@Sommify. Oops, whoops. I thought that was going to come up. But yeah, info@Sommify, and we'll send you a game. So that was it. Does anyone have any final questions or thoughts? can we all say oh wait, go ahead. There you are.
This has been really fun, Connor and Jessica.
Oh, thank
Thanks,
you so
Caroline.
much. Did you learn a little bit tonight?
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
We've been having a ball down here.
It's been fun.
Good deal.
Thank you, random person as well.
Yeah, we did not pay Carl to $5 to say that.
Sorry, I got kicked out halfway through the game for some. I think it was
And
my
she
fault.
got shushed about 20 times.
Oh no!
I almost got kicked out myself. There's if you hit back, it'll ask you like, do you want to leave the game? And yeah, that's probably what
we got a
happened.
slide. We need to make that a slide that says don't do that because
Don't go back. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still working out a few kinks
Yeah.
with the app, but
Well, hey, thank you, everyone. Please jazz hands for Katie. Thank you so much for
thanks, Katie.
for being our guest, Somm, tonight.
Welcome. I gotta go put my kid to bed now. Really late.
Good deal. Thanks so much.
She was the
Much to
star of the
everybody.
show.
What was that?
This is so good. Cheers, honey.
I said she was the star of the show.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she usually is. Leland, come say goodnight. She's like, I don't want to.
All the time she's camera shy. I love it.
I know.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Hope you
Thank
guys will
you,
join us
guys.
again. We do this every month, and we'll see you all soon.
Thanks, and Anna, make sure to
Goodbye.
email us.
Bye bye.
Will do. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Oh,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye, Kelly. Thanks for all your comments.
Bye bye.